right, we are back with episode, Adrian, 22, I think, of the Rip City Roundtable podcast. We're almost at like a year or a half a year of this podcast. Isn't that crazy? You were on episode 1, I think, or 2.
Yeah. I feel like part of the furniture now.
You're part of the. You are. Well, Adrian, we're blessed. We're so excited to have you back. As we all know, Blazers fans here, we all know we've wrapped up Summer League. So, we did not win the title this year, which was, maybe if Scoot had come out, your boy Doup Reith is on the Olympic team, so he probably wasn't going to play in Summer League again. But, we had the potential to have a Summer League championship squad. We just didn't put him out the court.
I think the biggest mistake was not playing in the California Classic first, because most of the teams that played in the California Classic did well in Vegas. So
that's true. The Spurs came in really ready to go because they had that tune up there. And I don't know why we don't play in it. Portland's right there. We're right by California. I don't know why we don't do that.
I don't know whether it's an invitation thing. Maybe they don't like us in Northern California. I don't know. But, yeah,
they probably don't, because they do it in Salt Lake and Sacramento, and maybe they're just they're like, we don't like them. We don't want.
They used to do one in Orlando as well, from memory, but they don't do that one anymore.
Oh yeah, I remember that. In Orlando. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, maybe next year. But yeah, we could have had. I mean, you could have probably made a case for Scoot to potentially play in at least a game or two, maybe. You could have had Tumani. I think Tumani could have played, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the Heat played Jaime Hawkes, and you'd think these guys who made all rookie teams last season, if they're playing, then. But I mean, we don't know how fit Scoot is. Look, he could be fine, but maybe he's kind of he's getting his body right, and probably that's probably better. So
sure,
you never know.
I feel you. Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about who did play. So, your thoughts on Summer League, Adrian? We wrapped it up with. We went 4-1, I think.
I think it was 3-2 in the end.
3-2.
We lost that last game.
Oh, we ended up losing.
We won the last game, but we lost the. We lost the game to Charlotte.
You're right.
So,
we lost.
3-2.
In my mind, I was like, that point differential was going to have to be massive, and Golden State had to lose by a lot for us to have a chance at the playoff. So I was like, oh, we're out of it. And then I forgot if we even won or lost that game. But you're right, we did not play very well. I think we went. I think I covered that game. I'm terrible. I think I recapped that game, and we went 3 for 35 from 3. Or it was.
Yeah. Well, it was bad. It was bad shooting.
Yeah, 14%. I think I remember right. But so, what were your overall thoughts of the Blazers' Summer League performance?
Clingan is everything we were told. So I'm not worried about Donovan at all.
Yep.
That the defense is real. I'm a believer.
Yeah.
His offense is coming along. I mean, he hit a couple of threes. But yeah, he's not quite ready on the offensive end. But I think he can walk straight in and being a defensive center in the NBA. So that's reassuring.
Yeah.
Chris Murray was. I feel more. His intensity has definitely risen. He looks bigger.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't as efficient as I'd hoped, but I think it's summer league, so you take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And Ryan Rupert, while he wasn't consistent, had some really, really nice passages of play, shooting the ball, attacking the rim, defense. So they're the kind of 3 rostered players, but also you've got Bryce McGowan, who looks like he's a steal on a 2-way.
Yeah, he looked I'm gonna say incredible, but he just looked on offense completely comfortable. I love he's drawing fouls, he's connecting on foul shots, which was great. And I mean, what a great find for a 2-way spot with Bryce, who played well for Charlotte, right? Even leading up.
I think there are questions. I'm actually writing my Adrian's angles this week on Bryce, but
okay, all right, cool.
But I think that there are questions over his defense, and he can get a bit He can get it. His shot selection might not be as good as it could be, but yeah, he's got the physical gifts, and he looks like he knows how to score at all three levels. So I have no issue with the contract.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think take a flyer on him and let's see what happens. Yeah. I was trying to be in at least the game that I covered, the Charlotte game, and then just watching all of them too, with particularly Chris Murray. You know, it was trying. I think the Blazers were trying to set this up for him to be like, look, you're the guy this summer league. Let's get as many shots as you can. We're gonna run maybe some offense through you. And it just shown Chris is not going to be that player, Adrian, where he can like create his own shots. He's going to be the point guard because he's not that. He's a 3-and-D player, and it's like summer league unless you have maybe a high-end point guard that was drafted, or maybe like a quote-unquote veteran of summer league that can set your guys up. Chris wasn't going to have a good summer league without that, and I think that showed as like he just didn't have anybody to set him up. Which he normally would in probably a normal NBA game.
And also some of the lobs that they tried to throw to Clingan might have been a little bit more effective. I was just willing someone to throw a lob to Clingan in the right spot. But
oh man, no kidding. Yeah. Because even on the ones that were a few he connected on, I remember one in particular in the Charlotte game that got me out of my chair, and a few like. He can convert those. Like those are alley-oops that he can convert. But yeah, some of the passes were a little painful to watch in those games.
And that's why you take summer league with a grain of salt. I mean, like Chris Murray, I can't see Chris Murray and Ryan Rupert getting minutes kind of November through Feb. Mm-hmm. So it's a good chance for them to get some run, but it's also not reflective of what is going to happen during the season. So it's just something to kind of bear in mind. These guys are still developing, so they need time to kind of work out the kinks. And as you said, they're not kind of prime ball handlers and facilitators, so they need to kind of that's not their jam.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Did Clingan did he replace Robert Williams for you on the depth chart for this team?
It's interesting you asked that. So last week's Adrian Zangles talks about the logjam at centre.
Yeah.
I think Rob's the first guy to get traded.
Okay.
And I probably, if he's fit, probably by the deadline.
Yeah.
I think they're going to want to play Clingan as much as they can, but because they're not really keen on winning, they'll throw kind of twin tower lineups out there. I think Chauncey will have no issue putting Williams and Clingan out there, putting Doup and Clingan or Reith and Ayton out there. So I think we're in that stage where you can experiment, but I think ultimately they wouldn't have drafted Clingan with the 7th pick, even though it was a bad draft.
Yeah.
If they didn't see him as the future.
Sure. Yeah. I think, I mean, he showed, I know it's summer league, so I'm trying not to be excited, but the eternal optimist that I know you are, he showed a lot. Yeah, you are. And I was getting excited. Okay, well, let me use this as an example. And I can't remember, you're a football guy, NFL football, right? American football, and like the Seattle Seahawks, is a team that I love. And the Seahawks, they were exciting on defense. Like I would watch defense. When we were on offense, it was like, oh, this is going to be rough. And during the summer league game with Clingan, I was like excited. I wanted the Blazers to be on defense because I wanted to see what he was going to do. Are they? Can you even get a shot over this guy? And more times than not, it was like must see TV, kind of, to see Clingan play defense. I love.
And he didn't foul either. And I know they get their 10 fouls. He stayed out of foul trouble, which is stunning for a guy his age with his experience.
Stunning. I said that, I think, last week. The number I was most impressed with at the time, and I think it stood this way because he didn't play in the last game, was 2.7. That's how many fouls he averaged a game. In Summer League, was 2.7. There were some guys that averaged like 7 fouls because, like you said, you get more than 6.
Yeah. Adam Boner, when they played the Sixers, I think used 8.
8.
Yeah, 7 or 8. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
And Clingan's like going after every shot at the rim. So it's not like he was like picking spots to try to block shots so he didn't pick up fouls. He was like going for him. And there were even some questionable ones, at least in the Hornets game. And we'll probably maybe see it. Where like he got
I know the one you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, talk about that kind of like, look clean at the rim and they called a foul. So it's like that was impressive to me.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be, I don't know. I'm not gonna say Rudy Gobert, but I'm like, he is gonna be a defensive force, Adrian. Defensive force.
The problem is you've already got Wemby and Chet. So as far as kind of winning Depoy, it's gonna be hard. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's gonna be hard.
I think though they're gonna start to like Chet and Wemby, because they're just all around. They can shoot. They can do more on offense. And maybe people will be like, well, we'll give it to the guy that just plays defense. These other guys are more all around. Like Wemby will be in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's like Giannis. Like it's rare to have the MVP and the defensive player of the year in the same person. So I don't know.
I just like to point out that you call me the optimist, but
yeah.
I think you're taking the title today.
I might be taking the title today, and I might be overreaching. But I just thought for a big guy, he should have been in foul trouble every summer league game because that's just what happens.
I agree,
and it didn't. So I don't know, Adrian.
Hey, look. I mean, we need to kind of put this in perspective. This draft wasn't spectacular. We're not. He was never going to be a game-changing player, but if he can settle in as the center of the future, I mean that's obviously the ideal situation, and then it's great because we've got young core here with Scoot, Shaden, Denny, and Clingan, and I mean Cooper Flag is a 4. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So this is all, it's all kind of fitting into position.
It is
at the moment.
If there was a team like better positioned for Flag, I don't know who they are besides the Blazers. Because like Adrian, this is it. Like Cooper is coming to this team. It just feels the stars are aligning. Like it,
and him and Donovan are close. Like him and Donovan are. I think their mothers played together at Maine or something like that. So they know each other, and that could be the future front court. Like that's
dude, huge. So let me segue real quick. You offered the transition. I'm gonna take it. So we need to get Cooper Flag. So in order to get Cooper Flag, we have to probably get the number 1 pick, right? In order to get the number 1 pick, Adrian, we have to lose games. In order to lose games, we probably need to trade a player or two. And you love posting these in our Slack. I enjoy them. Maybe I enjoy them the most. I know I don't comment on them, but I love looking at them. Whenever you post one, I stop what I'm doing and I look at it. when you go in the trade machine. So give me. I won't put a number on it. Give me 1, 2, however many you want. Give me some trades that you have been putting in the machine that have shown that they can be. That they can happen, right? The machine says we accept it. That you think the Blazers should do.
I've got one ready to go.
Okay.
But I will say, I think we're at the point in the summer where I don't think I think we're done. Like unfortunately, I think we're done right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, mid-season things happening. Anyway, so it's a deal between the Blazers, the Lakers, and the Magic.
Okay. Lakers, Magic. Okay.
Portland gets Rui Hachimura.
Okay.
Jared Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And their 29 first-round pick, the Lakers' first-round pick.
Okay.
The Lakers get not Jeremy Grant, but DeAndre Ayton.
Oh.
Because JJ Redick wants another big man. He's come out and said that.
Yep.
Delano Banton and Caleb Houston from the Magic. Okay. And the Magic get Gabe Vincent. They need a point guard. So,
okay.
And they've got a little bit more space, so they can take on a bit more money. But this saves Portland almost $9 million. It saves the Lakers almost $3 million.
Okay.
And we get that. We get 1 first-round pick from the Lakers. Obviously, I think they're holding out for 2 if it was Jeremy Grant. But I think for Ayton and the size of his deal,
yeah,
I think that's fair.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. I need to probably give up on Ayton. Not give up on him. Sorry, DeAndre, if you listen to the podcast. I'm not giving up on you. But, like, I just feel like there's something there unless you don't think there's a future with Ayton. Then,
no. He's good. He's just too rich. Like, he's that money, and he's extension eligible right now. So he's gonna want to get paid over the next 12 months, and it's.
But would he? I mean, what would be his argument? What would his agent come in and say of, like, because he's getting what, $30 million right now, 35? He's
32, I think.
32.
It is, yeah.
So let's say the Blazers said, hey, DeAndre, you're 25 years old. We want to extend you, be a Blazer until you're 30. But, dude, you're not getting a raise. Like, we got to keep you in this, like, 32 range. Because in 4 or 5 years from now, Adrian, that'll look really good with the cap. But what would be his argument for getting more money?
Well, I mean, you've heard him say his rhetoric around dominating, and he said I'm a max player last year. So
he said that last year.
Yeah,
I don't like
and
that.
Look, he had a really good end to the season. No one can argue with that. I just think you can't have him in Klingon. I'm in Star Trek realm. Klingon in the same on the same roster, because Klingon needs that pathway to starting minutes. And I think it's fine to have DeAndre there maybe this season, just so Donovan can get his feet wet.
Yeah.
But the Blazers are really good at doubling up at a position. And I think Cronin's aware of this, and I think the plan is to eventually move Rob Williams and kind of rehabilitate his trade value.
Yeah.
And then move DeAndre, and he's going to be expiring kind of next year, so that could be nice for a team looking to deal. So yeah, that's the way I see it. I could be wrong. I mean, I very often am. So
no, you're probably right. When I had Dave Deckert on the pod, that was his number one. Like, what are we doing with Ayton? And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, Dave, because that probably is. He's the highest paid Blazer. He, should have good value, right? Especially if he gets off to a good start this season coming up. He probably is the obvious one to try to move. I'm like, oh, like, is there something there? And we've seen him in the finals, and he got worked over by Giannis. Like, he had no backup, right? Because Saric got hurt in that finals. And
he did well. He did well in Brook Lopez. Like, I think he held Brook Lopez quite well.
You're right.
I mean, Giannis is Giannis. So.
Giannis is Giannis, and Ayton was still pretty young. It might have been his second year in that finals, and so maybe third year. But
third year, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Give us another one. We traded DeAndre Ayton. He's gone. He's gone.
So the other one, and I keep saying, I saw this before the draft. I keep seeing this in my mind with Jeremy Grant. Probably can't happen now until December, January. But I just see him reuniting in Philly. It just makes too much sense for me.
Okay.
So before the draft, I could have seen them doing a lopsided trade and Jeremy going into their cap space, still allowing for Paul George.
Okay.
And all they would do is give us picks back. So some of those Clippers picks look pretty nice.
Yeah.
In a few years' time with Kawhi and Harden on the way out. I still think that can happen. Probably. Look, they need someone because I think Caleb Martin is their starting power forward at the moment. So, and they've gotten rid of Tobias Harris, but I just see Jeremy kind of filling a role in Philly.
Yep.
So I think kind of mid-season you can actually take back some salary, some of the contracts they signed in free agency. And get some picks in return. So I keep looking at Jeremy in Philly, and also OKC, given another team he used to play for. But I think given that Hartenstein went to OKC, I just keep looking at Philly because they have a need.
Yeah.
For.
Yeah. Well, and if Embiid gets off to a good start, Paul George stays healthy, and that team is like a number one seed or fighting for one. I mean, Grant added to a team with Maxey, George, and Embiid, and then you throw Jeremy Grant as like your fourth guy. Oh my goodness! If Jeremy Grant was your fourth guy, that's a championship team for sure.
And I should add, some of the contracts they signed were deliberately used as kind of essentially as player trade exception. So I think KJ Martin got a really kind of nice 1 year with a team option. I think Eric Gordon was similar.
Okay.
So those contracts were signed for trade, essentially,
gotcha.
to bring in someone else. So Daryl Morey's no idiot.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think I just keep looking at Philly. I don't know why.
Well, what did you? Okay, so you said picks. What did you have specific ones that it was the Clippers pick specifically?
Yeah, I think I need to double check, but I think Philly has the 27 Clippers pick. I think they've got 29 as well.
Okay.
27, 29. Okay. 27, Kawhi.
Yeah.
Harden's on a 2-year deal, so he'll be gone by then. Kawhi's on a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
And we don't know how well his body's gonna hold up. They've also got a swap as well.
Yeah. The only thing that and maybe this is like the obvious thing. My only concern. This is my only concern. I do think the Clippers are going downhill. They're getting old. George is gone. But it's like, does Ballmer just like whoever the free agent is that year just says, here's a max deal. I have a new stadium and I have so much money. It doesn't matter. So the Clippers will never truly be like going into the lottery ever again? Or do you think that Ballmer would just say, okay, let's bottom out and let's try to get a high draft pick, even if we don't own our picks anymore? So like it wouldn't matter. But or do you think he'll just throw money at the team?
It's tricky because Harden's not going to be very tradable and Kawhi's not going to be very tradable at that point. So as far as kind of bringing back picks for themselves, it's going to be hard. So look, maybe.
Sure.
But
wasn't that brutal to see? And I mean, we didn't care. We're not Clippers fans, but like to see Paul George walk away for nothing after so much. They gave so much for him.
Right.
Oh my word! So it's
Sam
like
Presti is the boss. Sam Presti is so freaking smart.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Wild.
But I mean, if I'm the Clippers, I still do that trade.
Yeah. I'm with you too. I just re-signed George. I think I just re-signed him. Like at least get him under contract and then flip him later. Or I don't know why let him walk.
Because there's second apron ramifications now as well, and they lose draft picks, and they can't do kind of lopsided trades. This second apron thing has changed the whole front office thing. It's crazy.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Well then that's why I have you on. You're educating me. Yeah. I'm a loose cannon here. They wanted to win. You paired George with Kawhi. If you had the ability to do it, you do it. You know, they get hurt at the wrong time. Kawhi every postseason. It's like clockwork. I would just sit the guy, like sit him in the whole month of April or March, and then then you take him out of the bubble wrap for the first round of the playoffs. Then you have Kawhi. They should do that. I don't know why he doesn't do that.
And as soon as you take him out of the bubble wrap, he gets injured in the first round of the playoffs.
In the first round of the playoffs.
Have him in bubble wrap until the finals, and hopefully he can stay fit for 7 games.
Just get him
4 to 7 games.
Whenever they're up in like an elimination game, they're like, okay, Kawhi, you gotta get out of here now and get us through the next series. So, well, I mean, give us Clippers picks. I'm all about it. OKC picks. Well, I know they got picks from other teams, so they're probably trading. If we did the Jeremy Grant trade to OKC, I don't want OKC picks. That team is not going to be a bottom team for probably the next 15 years. Like, no way.
And I'd be angling for some of the picks that they've brought in, but I think that's less of an option now with Hartenstein. They did. I mean, Presti's amazing. Like that guy is so. Yeah. He can see 12 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And
no kidding.
Amazing.
Yeah, that OKC team, this could, I mean, I don't know about Boston. I think they had a nice road to the finals, and then clearly they have a great team. They had like the best 6-guy rotation. But, man, OKC, I think, they're ready to take off. If that team's not in the finals for the next 4 years, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, the West is funny. Like, Denver got worse. I mean, they got Russell Westbrook. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
But like
they just put shooters around Jokic. Oh wait, Westbrook.
Yeah.
Not going to work there.
Yeah. But they need another point guard behind I just don't know whether he's an upgrade on Reggie Jackson. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, he
They
might.
just signed with Philly, I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, he might be. And to be fair for Russ, like he's still athletic. He plays every game. You know, Jokic can find Russ some cuts to the rim and all these kind of things. So it's like, you know, and they got him for what? I mean, it's cheap at this point in his career.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he's probably on the minimum because he's been traded to and waived by Utah twice in the past 2 years. It's just crazy.
Not a fan of Utah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we'll see if these trades. We'll see if they happen. You know, I do think like you said, we're probably done. I think we move into August. Everybody goes on vacation in the NBA, and I think we roll into the year and we see kind of what opportunities present itself for the team. We've seen Joe, right, Adrian? Like the man is super patient. Joe Cronin, like he is gonna wait for his spots.
But hasn't it been so nice not having the Damian question hanging over our heads this off season?
Man, that was just a year ago, wasn't it?
It's been so nice.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
And I think Cronin has kind of established a reputation, which is great. Like he's not gonna fold.
No, he's not going to. And I think he's shown and I think he's proven it's like playing poker, right? It's like once you've shown that like you're patient and you wait till the right hand, then people respect you as that. So I think he's starting to get their respect as that kind of GM, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, no more are we doing the we'll give you two first rounders for Robert Covington. Yeah, we'll just do that real quick here. You know, it's like you know, and I know we don't have that kind of team. It's not like a win now team. So I get it. But I like where we're going. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think there's going to be a trade until the trade deadline, and we'll see the health of Ayton and Williams and Simons and Grant is probably kind of your top four.
And Tease, the biggest snub from the Australian Olympic team. I'm so angry about this.
What happened? You're like, do you have local reporting for us? What happened?
I do. I mean, ultimately, the coach Brian Goorjian, they wanted to go with Dyson Daniels and a couple of local players. Like, do they not realize that this guy's a two-time All-Defensive Team?
Oh, they don't. Were they not watching his games this season? Like, he comes in, Matisse 4 steals, without like in the blink of an eye, like, and put him in international ball. That would be wild.
We won our first medal at Tokyo. We won the bronze, and it was because Matisse was playing like in that bronze medal game stopped Luka because we played Slovenia for that bronze medal, and
wow,
there is Dyson Daniels. I'm sure is going to be a fine player, but Matisse Thybulle is an elite defensive player who's figured out how to shoot the ball, and I'm so angry about that.
That seemed like politics or something. Like it just seemed something that wasn't a basketball decision, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Australian national team, but yeah, that seemed like something else was happening. So I'm with you. You know, I've watched Dyson Daniels play. He is the length on that guy. Like he's a great on the like because he's still in the Pelicans, right? Or did he get traded? Did he just get traded?
Atlanta. But that's right. They also chose Matthew Dellavedova over him. Now we all remember Delly.
Delly, he's still playing. How old is he?
He's playing in Australia. He's playing in my team's, my city's team. But he's over the hill. Like they picked Delly over Tease, which is just nuts.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, that was that Cleveland series in the playoffs. Yeah, Dellavedova in the finals. He was incredible, but that was like 10 years ago, or I don't know, maybe not that long ago. But I didn't know he was still playing. I didn't even know down.
Yeah, he's playing in our NBL.
Yeah. But are you ready for Doup Reith to be like the breakout Australian this year? He's going to play well, right? He's going to play well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just him and Landale is kind of that center rotation. They've got a couple of guys playing over here and internationally, but I don't know whether they'll start him or Landale. But he'll get plenty of time. Yeah. And if he shoots the ball like he can, then yeah, absolutely.
I love Doup. I hope, and I love that he's not in the. And I'm not saying this as a negative, and I can lead into, you know, your angles or your Adrian angles, but it's like Duop's not mentioned in these like how do I want to phrase this? So he's part of the center log jam that we have, right? The Blazers have, but he is never mentioned as like the odd man out. Like Doup is he's signed. We need him. We want him. It's more of like Ayton, Williams. What do we do? If we had Clingan and Doup, that's your defense offensive tandem. Could be pretty cool down the road.
I think the way it works is Williams, assuming he's healthy, and Ayton are starting level centers. So the friction here is Clingan, Ayton, and Williams for that starting role. But Doup is a great second or third center. And so he works on this Blazers team regardless of what happens with the other guys, because you always need depth at the five. And if you move both of them, you'll probably need someone else. But he's 28, so he's a little bit older. But I still think there's no issue with him being on this roster at all.
No. And he has the kind of game, Adrian, that I think Doup could be 35 years old and still do exactly the same things that he's doing, right? You'd lose some athleticism, but like stretching the floor. I mean, he's like a modern day, and this is not blasphemy, but he's like a modern day Robert Horry, in my opinion. Like, I think Doup turns into a guy that hits big shots and comes in the clutch, is a mature player. We don't need to lose.
We need to come up with a nickname. We need to come up, because like Big Shot Bob, we need to come up with
something.
Wreath or
no. Doup shop. No, I don't know. We'll workshop it later. Okay, that's not right now.
Let's workshop that. But we'll come up with something.
Okay, so what is your angles coming up this week? What do you? So you gave us a little tidbit, but talk to us a little bit more.
Yeah. So last week. So I'm not sure when this comes out, but so we did the center log jam last week. This week I'm looking at Bryce McGowan's.
Yes.
And maybe why he was a second round pick, maybe why the Hornets let him go, maybe why he only got the best he could do was a 2-way contract.
Yeah.
But talk about what he brings, and the fact that he's still 22 means there's a hell of a lot of development. I actually remember him playing against the Blazers last year. I think it was in Charlotte. And he was really good. And I mean, neither team was really keen on winning that day, but
that was like the tank. That was like the tank, the super tankable or whatever you want to call it.
That was tankathon. Yeah, Tankathon. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I think he's perfectly fine as a 2-way. Absolutely.
Cool. No, I love that. And so this comes out. So your angle comes out Sunday, right? Your article.
Saturday your time, Sunday my time.
Saturday our time. So the podcast drops Fridays. So that will still, you'll hear this.
Oh, right.
And then tomorrow, check out Adrian's article that comes out on Bryce. What I like about this, Adrian, and well, I want the Blazers to be a competitive title contending team like we all do. But because of where we're at right now, and then now having the Rip City Remix local, is you can do a piece on Bryce, and the Blazers fans, we will get to see him play either as the team starts to tank for or what do they call it? Capture the flag, as we try to capture the
flag. I like SAG for flag.
SAG for flag. That's where SAG. The visualization on that one's weird, but I like it too. As we SAG for flag, but then also as you go to Rip City Remix games, you're going to see Bryce really playing there, right? He will be one of the centerpieces on offense. So I love that this is coming out, because Blazers fans they want to get behind their players, and they're going to get to see him either for the remix or for the main team. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean, and we hopefully he can do what Trendon Watford did and come off a 2-way and become a rostered player. Obviously, Trendon, that didn't last too long for Trendon in Portland, but I think he just got a new deal in Brooklyn, which is great for him.
Yeah.
But I think there's plenty of potential there.
Okay, true or false? Justin Minaya could have played on a playoff contending team last year as like a reliable guy off the bench. If you were to pluck him and put him on the Celtics or put him on maybe the Mavericks, could he have played?
Well, first, condolences to him for his mum. He lost his mum this week.
Terrible. Yeah.
But I mean, he's just one of those guys that just gives the 110%, and he can shoot the ball and he can defend. So, I mean, I think the problem with that is there are just so many guys that are like him that can do that.
I know.
So yeah,
he just seems like if the lights get bright, and I know he's not under bright lights in Portland yet, right? Hopefully soon. But he just seems like a guy that could take that pressure and turn it into gold. And I don't know why. I have, I watch him. We do recaps about him. He's getting, 10, 15 minutes a game, something like that. And I know he doesn't jump off the screen in any certain category, right? But there's just something about him, Adrian, that I don't know. So I love that we brought him back. I know on a two-way, he's not like we're not taking a flyer on him or probably a lot of upside potential, but I think he's just a good dude to have around. So I don't know. I was glad he was on the summer league team. I always enjoy watching him. That's absolutely. But anyway, all right, dude, your angles come out. They need to be called Adrian's angles. We're gonna talk to Dave about that because
there was initially it was titled like that, but I think it just fell away. And look, it doesn't bother me either way. But yeah, if you want to have a chat to Dave, then that's fine.
I'm going to talk to him, Adrian. It needs to have like a logo. Like we need to go full branding on this. So, but
like with an Australian flag.
With an Australian flag. We're doing that. I'm going to talk to Dave. Well, anyway, Adrian, we appreciate you coming on. I look forward to more trade machine hypotheticals as we get into the season. So maybe that becomes a permanent segment because one of these four guys is going. We talked about Rob, Ayton, Grant, Simons. I don't know who, but it's going to be somebody. So we got to keep track of that and see if you're right. And if you're right, Adrian, maybe you get a prize or something.
Yeah, what's the prize?
Yeah, maybe I'll mail you a jersey. And you have to. I'll just mail it to you, and you got to wear it on the podcast.
The postage will cost more than the jersey does.
Probably, it'll get there in 4 weeks, over to you. So, is it cold or hot right now? It's cold, right?
It's freezing. Yeah,
freezing.
Not freezing. Like we don't get snow here, but we work in Celsius. So I don't know whether any listeners are familiar with Celsius, but it's around 12 to 13 degrees Celsius at the moment.
Oh, geez. So that's probably like 30. Is that 40 degrees Fahrenheit? I don't. Who knows how many?
Let's do a quick.
Throw it in the calculator. You said 12 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, 12. We'll say 13.
13. I'm saying that's 42 degrees Fahrenheit.
I've got 55.
Oh, 55
degrees.
Oh, Adrian, that's not that cold. What are you talking about? That's a nice brisk day in Portland.
The deeper we go into winter, it'll be kind of 50. I think 50 degrees is kind of the maximum, the lowest maximum we would get.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I still want to come visit. I got to come to Australia, and you got to give me a tour.
I'll show you around.
Show me around. Okay. Well, we're going to do it. And we'll do a show there, live.
Yeah. And we can go to some NBL games, and you can see how different the standard is. And
I would love. Okay, really quick, before you go, who's an NBA player that I would know that's currently playing in the NBDL right now that I would know besides Delhi, besides Della.
So Lamb, who was on the Warriors,
Jeremy Lamb.
No, not Jeremy Lamb. Anthony Lamb.
Anthony Lamb.
I think.
Okay.
Obviously Alex Sarr was playing for Perth last year.
Yep.
There's a couple of others, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, one last thing.
It's where they go to finish their career.
It's where they go to finish. Hey, that's still fine. Okay. Last thing, then we'll go. What were your thoughts of the Washington? So Summer League, Clingan versus Sarr, and Sarr was like what 0 for 15. Is that it? Did Clingan do anything, or was that more Sarr?
I think Sarr's still got a long way to go. Yeah. I think Sarr's still probably going to be the better defensive player just because of his athleticism. But yeah, as I said, Summer League with a grain of salt, but it was encouraging.
Yeah, I think I was encouraged by it too. I know it is Summer League, and I think Sarr was like 0 for 7 from 3, which Klingan's not really doing much there to probably defend. Sarr was just missing open shots, but yeah, the offense. Even when we talked, if the Blazers had gotten the number 1 pick, and we were thinking Sarr, it was never because of his offensive prowess. It was always going to be from the defensive side.
Yeah.
So, cool. All right, Adrian. Appreciate you coming on Rip City Roundtable Podcast. We'll check out your articles coming out Saturday and follow you on Twitter and all the places. So
all the places. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, mate.